I do think that there will be in our market a big shift in how software is developed. I think you will see two tiers. I think you see the companies that are adopting AI and the companies that still hope that this will go away. But if those that don't adapt, they will disappear. That's my prediction.
Hello, my name is Torsten from Stack Exposed. We're here to find out how real companies really run their business with the tech stacks they use. I'm here today with Bård from Crystallize. Hello, Bård.
Hello, Torstein. How are you doing?
Thanks for coming. It was great talking to you last time, and I'm excited for this talk. So can't you just tell me a little bit about yourself and the company that you're building?
Sure. So my name is Bård, and that's how it's pronounced. So it doesn't translate great to English, but it's the one I got. So I've basically been building software companies for the last, 27 years now. A little bit of background. We did one startup that we started in 99, which was called Easy, now Ibexa, CMS, DXP platform, and that we grew and scaled globally and sold to private equity some years ago. And now we are building Crystallize, which is essentially an e-commerce platform that is designed for the agentic era. So a lot of MCPs, skills, CLI, and fast APIs. So that's short about me, engineering and product background.
Cool. How many people are in your Crystallize team?
So Crystallize, we're part of a group, New Normal Group, where it's a few companies, just shy of 10 companies, and we're I think it's about 120 people in the group. Some of the roles are within the specific organizations, and some are within the group. For example, we don't have a CFO in Crystallize. So we're about 15 dedicated internally in Crystallize, plus support of the team in the group. So we're a little bit larger than we look.
Yeah, understand. So that means that a lot of the tools that you use today is scattered or used among the whole umbrella, or
some, but it's not like we're building a corporate structure and everybody follows a blueprint because each of the organizations are different and have different requirements. But some are kind of fixed, like email and calendar is Google, for example. Everybody's using that.
We're here today to talk about the Crystallize stack and how you work and build your products, because as you said, Crystallize was e-commerce for the agentic era. Tell me a little bit about what makes that different from the competitors.
Yeah, so there's two things. One is the way we build Crystallize, because it's and we used the phrase, it was consistently from 2019. So let's build an ideal backend for modern e-commerce for the intelligent API economy. That's what the phrases we used, which means that everything is API driven, designed from start to speak machine to machine. And we prepared everything in Crystallize so that it's ideal for basically working with what we now call agents, right? Because we launched Crystallize before like ChatGPT was out, but we kind of saw where it was going. We had some tooling that were semi-smart and used machine learning, like translation memories, for example, that was available before that. So that's a little bit on how we've built product. And what we do is essentially, there's two parts. We have what we call the product universe, which is essentially where all your product information, your marketing, your videos, 3D models, everything to build a storefront or an app for whatever you're selling. If it's a Mercedes car configurator or if you're selling t-shirts, you have very different what we call product universe, right?
Yeah, you said Mercedes. You have some pretty cool clients on your client list, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, sure. So we have some known brands. The most known I'm not able to speak about publicly, but it's a very known car manufacturer that are using Crystallize globally in 115 countries. But in the Nordics, we have a lot of known brands in different verticals, like Plantagen, for example, Bilextra, or if you look to Sweden, brands like Svif or Mitsubishi Electric, Reitan-gruppen with Colli, things like this. Yeah.
So in terms of building the product and growing the business, the sales, what are you using for communication among those departments? Is it Slack?
Yeah, it's Slack. Essentially, so we're heavy on Slack, and so we're which is important also to mention, we are a remote first company. So we have a hub in Skien, Norway, where we're headquartered. We have location in Stockholm and also in San Francisco, where we have daughter companies. But the team is distributed around Europe and US. So marketing lead is in Serbia, for example. We have a front-end lead is in Bulgaria, and so forth and so on. Our CTO is actually in San Francisco. So very distributed team. And the cornerstone of our communication, of course, we have as I mentioned, the Google Suite with email, calendar, and Google Docs and things like this. And it's Slack that is kind of the glue in the organization that we heavily use. And we use that both internally, but also with our partners and also with all of our customers, so that that's where we run operations like support, Q&A, and bug reporting and whatnot with Slack. So that's kind of the cornerstone of our infrastructure to keep it simple.
So the reason you chose Slack, is it because since you said you have been building companies for a long time, and it's because you use Slack from the beginning, or have you ever thought about changing that?
Yeah. So we used Slack from the beginning because at the time when we founded Crystallize, Slack was, this is before it was acquired by Salesforce, and it was the cool kid on the block, but also it's super easy to integrate with all of the APIs and the extensions and the workflows you build around it, and that's where the power is. We have evaluated other platforms, probably not on the brink of changing, but everything from Discord to something bespoke or other platforms. There are some trends with Slack that data privacy becomes maybe not so easy to export your data going down the line. So it is definitely a topic. But to us, is all the workflows and automation we can build around Slack. That's really the power that we see.
What sales CRM do you use, or do you have a sales CRM and a normal CRM? Or how does that work?
No. So we just have one CRM, which is Attio.
Yeah.
And Attio was also chosen. So before that, we had Pipedrive for sales. But we replaced that 1 year ago. Ish with Attio. Yeah, so it's, the extensions you can do on the using the APIs, so we can integrate it into all of our tooling, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Companies that have a similar philosophy as we have, but you should have access to all of your data, being able to use it with agents and operate your platform via APIs, so you don't have to log into the actual app to interact with it.
Yeah, I understand. So do you think that you're a development company, right? So you have developers that can fix the APIs and stuff. But do you think for normal companies like Attio or Pipedrive, I love Pipedrive, I've been using it before, not right now, but earlier, and it's a really nice entry CRM for a lot of this, I think. But Attio, do you think it's as good? Or is it just because it's have all of the APIs, you can do whatever you want with it?
Question, because the power really is the automation side of Attio, so that it's flexible, you can configure workflows and do automation. If you don't have technical people in your organization, I think it's super valuable still. One of the things that I like is that you can sync it with your email and calendar, and it will then be able to go back. So when we introduced Attio, we had a lot of interactions with partners and clients that goes years back, and now all of that is aggregated automatically. So like on a contact or a company, you can see the interaction, which people have you talked to, well, when was the last meetings and everything, and it's fully automated. Whereas with Pipedrive, I remember you had to remember to BCC or an email. It's kind of,
I think it's
not that smooth.
I understand what you mean.
So, but I like Attio. I'm very seldom in actual Attio interface, but it does the job.
So, yeah, which part of the company are you working mostly with? Are you working with sales, product?
Yeah, so as a CEO, I am working with all parts of the company, but it's a mix of working with partner organization, sales organization, and working with the product and engineering side. Those are the two main focuses. What I don't work a a lot with, luckily, is operation and finance. So we have better people for that. So
That's the next
not
question. Like, if you're so many remote and in so many countries, how do you organize the finance part of it? Like, what's your accounting software? Is it one per country, or how does that work?
so we use TripleTex globally, both for all of
It's the Norwegian accounting software for those that don't know. And I guess that's many.
yeah.
Yeah.
TripleTex
So
does the job.
just a job for, yeah, okay, cool.
And
So
also our business isn't that complicated, right? We have one product with different tiers and usage-based pricing. So it's just the multi-currency and the different daughter companies. That is the complexity, but other than that, it's pretty basic. Our requirements in terms of that.
have you integrated it with some APIs there as well, or is it?
No, not so much. Other than like the basic, like when a subscription renews, that we place it in TripleTex and then it has to be kind of approved. And other than that, that's not the software I think I've ever logged into myself. As I said, operations and finance, that's not where I spend my time.
I understand. So where you do like project management, you're building a product. How do you work on that?
I think we do it differently than most organizations. So the most important, because there's a couple of aspects here, right? It's one is where do we take the product, which is our vision and our specifications and our roadmap essentially. And we have a process which currently is as following. We have a repository of specifications. Those are in Markdown files, which is what Claude likes to speak. And we have, so that's kind of very agentic. And on the other side, we have the roadmap itself in Figma. Yes, you heard me correctly, Figma. So we're managing a visual roadmap in Figma, which is mainly because of it's very design driven. A lot of UI and all of those are currently in Figma. And that's essentially how we organize the, let's say the roadmap. We shift it on we try to set a 6-month roadmap. We adjust it monthly, and then every Monday again we adjust priorities. So that's a living, very living document. But that's our, let's say, engineering and product design backlog. And then we have support and bug fixes, things like this. And as I said, we do all of our support via Slack. So what we've done is we've built an agent where, first of all, we can ask the agent. It has full access to all of our skills and all of our best practices. It actually also has access to the full source code. So when we have, this is an agent that is internal. We built the agent and it's not for others than us to use, but we, let's say if you're a client and say, I've got issue with this X, Y, and Z. And then we will say, hey, Claudette, can you research this issue and see if it's a bug or if it's a user error. If it's a bug, please create a bug fix suggestion for me. So at that time, we get a full automation of so the issue doesn't go via a project tracker or issue tracker, or there's no middleman. It goes directly into a pull request or a specification for a pull request. So that workflow is kind of game changing because now with Claude and automation, we're actually able to usually create a fully generated fix for that and deploy it, of course, with review and all of the tests and all of this, but where we've dropped the middleman of the classical issue tracker, right? But of course, in our system, we call agent Claudette, and we have plans that are generated for fixes and for changes, feature suggestions, etc. And then it's up to us to then decide on when we want to execute it. I think that's a not typical traditional workflow, and there's two reasons.
System, I think, like Zendesk or a ticket system with connected to that ticket system to Jira or something like that, but you do it a little bit more straightforward, it seems like.
Yeah, so because we've had Shortcut, we had another one before that. We've had Kanban board. We've had just GitHub, and which was the final one we migrated to before we decided to just make it fully integrated and automated. Because in essence, for us, it was just tracking of the issues, and our goal was to do two things: to kind of maximize human interaction in terms of having an actual person, not the middleman that just receives a ticket, but a person or a developer that knows what's up, that can answer and say, yes, this is a bug, we'll fix it. Boom, just deploy the fix, should be out after CAS running. Kind of to get the time to fix and the time to execution as low as possible. So those are kind of the two reasons why we ended up building internal toolings for that.
So your clients also get the feedback in Slack that now it's fixed. Cool. Understand. So can I ask how many clients you have right now?
Yeah, so we have a freemium model, right? So we have about 10,000 that are signed on the platform, and of course, then it's I don't have the latest numbers, but about 1,000 that are paying, and then enterprise clients of that is a lower number. So it's kind of it's the traditional freemium model, right, where you can sign up and test it for free, and usually the enterprise clients come in and have, because they have a lot of orders, a lot of volume, so they go directly on an enterprise plan. So it's a platform that is being used, and we are right now about 700-800 million API calls a month that we're serving on the platform to our clients. Yeah.
So how many uses of those, you said you have freemium clients as well, are using it out of the box and then building just an e-commerce with some specialties versus really hardcore using all of your configuration options?
Yeah, so Crystallize is not an out-of-the-box solution. So it's a platform. So 0 of our customers are using it out of the box, because out of the box you don't really have anything. You have to configure it. And that's kind of part of the customization capabilities in Crystallize, where you start with defining your own data model, your pricing schema, all of the rules, subscriptions versus one-off payments, customer hierarchies, etc. So it's designed to be customized, and it fits well. I mean, you can sell any type of product on it, but of course, the more advanced requirements you have for, let's say, as I mentioned, Mercedes is a car configurator, right, where you have 1 billion combinations per model, and they have, I don't know, 20 models or so. I mean, G-Wagon and C-Class and so on. And that is where Crystallize shines, where you have what we call a product universe that is tailored to your business. And the same on the commerce side, where the e-commerce flow is also tailored to your way of doing business. So it's very different from if you are thinking like a Shopify solution, which is 100% out of the box. You can click, go live, happy days. Crystallize is designed to be customized and to solve your specific needs. So yeah.
So in your company, you're the CEO. Who are you talking to in your organization when you're deciding tools, deciding how you work, why you stopped using Jira? Who is sitting in that room when you're deciding and drawing up the workflows?
So we're a small organization. So usually we have not usually, every month we have a roadmap meeting, and every decision goes into the roadmap meeting, and everybody is involved there. So not everybody can every time, but everybody is invited and are joining in on the roadmap meeting that we do on a monthly basis. So that's where we do product decisions, infrastructure decisions, and priorities, which is important because we structure our roadmap in 3 dimensions. One is frequent requested. Let's say, call it sales blockers, if you will. So feedback from the market on, let's say there's, I don't know, some feature that takes SAML, for example. So login protocol for enterprises. A couple of years back, we didn't have that, and partners and sales in Crystallize were kind of like, we get more and more organizations asking for SAML. So at that point, we kind of said, okay, now let's add that. So that's kind of like market feedback. It's important to have partner and sales and operations in there. And the other is from product management. Where do we want to take the product next? Do you want to spend efforts on like our MCP, or do you want to launch a new shop API, or whatever the feature is? And then the last is from engineering, right? Okay, we want to build this, but you're saying that we want this to scale and we need it to be distributed, and there's stuff we need to do from engineering to kind of make that happen. So I think it's important for as long as possible to have that broad of a view on changes. So it's not like I am the CTO, for example, sit down and decide and we go for what we want. We try to be data-driven or insight-driven so that it's the best idea should win, regardless of who it comes from. And that comes to tooling like, take something simple, tracking vacation, right? Vacation Tracker is a tool we use, which is a dead ship, simple one-purpose tool, fully integrated with Slack, and it just solves the thing and costs like, I don't remember, like a couple of bucks per month per user. So it's like not very expensive tool. And that is something that came from the engineers at Crystallize that we want something that is just integrated with Slack. So request vacation or apply for vacation and track vacation, things like this.
How many tools is a vacation tracker, which is something everybody should do, move away from the Excel sheets, to be honest.
Do people still do that? Yeah.
I know many companies that do that still. It's not, I think it's, we stopped 1.5 years ago or something. Vacation tracking is better online then. So you have Slack, you have a Claudette or Claude. So how many systems do you think you use in total?
It's quite a few, because if you take into the, so first of all, we have a whole array of tools that are serving our platform, like AWS, and we have Cloudflare, and we have like different database services, but that's our infrastructure, right? A lot of engineering tooling. And then we have, of course, for development, the usual suspects like GitHub. Heard about that one, right? And of course, different testing frameworks and performance testing, like K4 for load testing and platforms like that. So, but that's more on the engineering domain itself, which is usually engineering and our CTO that will decide on that. And then with our internal tool stack, I would say it's surprisingly slim, because we have the Google Suite, we have Slack, of course, as mentioned. We have, we do live streams, so we use StreamYard, but that's not so much of a Stack thing. That's more of a communication tool.
Yeah, it is a little bit. A communication tool is a stack tool as well, I feel. So, as you said, I think you had some great insights there, because there are like your software that runs your product. It's a part of your product. So we can like put things into different bulks. It's like my product stack, my running my company stack, then you can divide it into my support stack, my analytics stack, or yeah. And this is questions you need to decide on, like what stacks should I use for all of my different company-wise tools.
Definitely, and also sales support, which is important. As I said, we use Atio as a CRM, but what we really use is an internal build tool for doing, like we call it Advantage. So it's a sales tool where you can do a lot of stuff, but primarily is if you have a new prospect, you can do recon, as we call it, so reconnaissance on the company. And then we have built an AI tool that will look in all sorts of publicly available directories, and also our CRM, look for buying signals, look for their tech stack, their positioning, their competitors, to really understand the business. So it's a full analysis. And we have also a prospector that will where you can say, okay, in Norway, I'm looking for a new opportunity. What's happening? Like looking at buying signals, like job postings and news and announcements, tech stack changes, things like this. And probably one of the most useful skills of Vantage, or our sales tool, is our RFI assist, because here we have given all of our skills and our communication framework and all of the descriptions and documentation, built an agent around that actually enables you to fill in RFI spreadsheets and documents and automate that process with human in the middle. That is self-learning, so that I'm sure you've gotten a lot of RFI and RFP requests. Do you have feature A? Do you have feature B?
Yeah.
The most boring part of any sales process. And that can be automated.
You build all of those things inside that yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Because it's so connected to the product, right? Both to the recon, have we talked to this company before? Any interaction with them is important. Doing public searches, and then with our way of how do we want to structure that. And same with building the RFIs, it's super connected to the product, right? We have to continuously train it, and I feel that's software that is kind of, you have to have the underlying data structure to build this. You have to have like complete documentation. You have to have skills and best practices, and kind of you need to be able to describe your product so that an agent can understand it. But once that is done, we've fully automated that process. So that's giving us, I would say, a good advantage on the sales side, and you save a lot of time. So that's what we're looking for, is how can we automate the process that used to steal resources.
So which stack choice have you done that you regret? It does not be current, of course.
Yeah, no, it's like we had a lot of project management. Not a lot of. I think we had 3 or 4 involved. Used a little bit, but we didn't really get the traction and the value out of it. So that's. But I think we had to go through that in order to land where we are. But that's stacks that we have definitely replaced.
Tools are we talking about?
So it's was it Shortcut? Is that one? I think that was renamed, and it was. To be honest, I don't really remember. We landed on GitHub at one time, and now we don't really use that either.
So people that are looking for project management tools, you think everybody have to go through a couple of them to find out if it works or not?
I know organizations are very different, right? And you also have support and issue trackers and things like this. And let's say if you're an organization that have support, active enterprise support on, let's say, 100,000 customers. Think like Telia or One Call, right? Oh, I got this issue with this. They need to have totally different processes and customer support tracking than us that are, very hands-on and are tracking, in real person dialogue with each customer. So I think your mileage will vary there. One popular tool that we used and we have migrated from a few years back is Dropbox. So that was the go-to back in the day. Maybe a very, very overpriced way of storing files, but we're not using Dropbox anymore.
So now with, like you said, Claudette, which is your Claude subscription. So how has things changed the last 12 months?
So I think everything has changed, and 26 is the year where our industry, so building e-commerce solutions, which is our vertical, it's changed on 3 levels: both how you build and how you operate, and also how you run. So what does that mean? The way you build used to be, you had front-end developers, you had middleware developers or architects building solutions and writing all the code yourself, right? That's clearly changed. And we're seeing that we get a lot of velocity by having proper skills and proper MCP support and interaction that you see. So we see that the way you build storefronts and e-commerce integrations has changed 100%. From 1 year ago, it was not all, but you maybe used some Claude to build some tests or some basic things, to now building out most of the solution, and where the job for developer is more doing review, asking the right questions, deciding on architecture, all of those things, which is actually what the developer is paid to do, not necessarily write the code. And we see that both for our partners and customers, but also internally, how we build the product actually. So that's a dramatically shift that we see. On some areas, we've seen a 10x improvement in throughput on, for example, a lot of the front-end code that is being written without the quality and the human in the middle suffering, right? It's better or just as good as it was. And we also see that how to operate in every e-com project or every platform project, you typically have data migration or data ingestion, importing, converting data. That used to be one of the more higher risk part of a project. Data ingestion and integration were kind of the 2 main risks. That is kind of also solved. So where we see that it goes from like weeks and months into maybe hours for having a bespoke third-party data format and getting it into a structured format. So both the data ingestion and also the daily operations, right? We see if you want to set up a campaign or translate products, like with Plantation, they have basic master data. They use then flows, as we call it in Crystallize, and AI to first generate complete product data. Like we need 3 USPs per product, and we need the SEO and all the description. All of those are generated, and then they also have then editorial approval for this is good enough. And next step is to get it translated and kind of going from like hours manual work per product to, let's say, a minute or 2 with approval. So that operational side is really changing. And the last part is kind of where we see the big pivot in the industry, where first of all how you buy a product is changing. First of all, how you discover. And guarantee that the last time you bought something, you asked Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT or something for recommendations. So that's the first thing.
Have you
And
worked on that, like optimizing Crystallize for LLMs?
yeah, so that's an important part of the best practices that we provide, and also how we optimize ourselves for being discovered.
Clients, then I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so because it's more how you use the platform for us. So it's we just sell the base platform, and then we want them to use it as much as possible because it's a usage based charged. So we want to share best practices and insight as much as possible so that they get the best possible results from the platform. So it's really everything is changing in 26, which also means, I mean, it also affects the stack, right? Like we wouldn't have an internal Claudette tool that has skills and knows all of our support history and everything that can automate our support jobs. We couldn't really do that in a proper way 12 months ago. Now we can do that rather easily
So
internally.
fast. Yeah, it's happening so fast. And I'm also thinking it's a little bit like Claude. This is on topic, I hope. Claude is, yeah, $200 a month for the
Yep.
max plan.
Yep.
And I guess most of the 50 million employees all have that, or do you have enterprise maybe?
No, yeah, so we use the max plan. Most
And
people in Crystallize have the max plan for Cloud.
I'm just thinking, I heard most Claude are subsidizing us a lot
Yeah.
on those plans, as far as I understood.
Yeah.
Like, and I was asked myself the question, as I hope I am a super user of Claude. To be honest, I don't know because I have some to compare with, but like, how much would I be willing to pay for my max plan, right? Because we are subsidized right now. What happens because I'm building so many automations myself as you are. And have you done the thought experiment? Like, are you hoping that there will be some open source stuff that's pushing down the some competition that pushes down the prices, and that they manage to get an Opus 7 that's cheaper? Or like, have you done or is the finance guy doing the thinking of like, how much are we willing to pay for this?
Yeah, so no, right now it's no problem to pay $200 a month. That we get that back easily, but
Yeah.
there is a threshold, right? And we'll see how this goes. But there will be, and there are open source models and models you can run that are maybe not as capable, but pretty close. And that is just as well going to accelerate, even though they might lag behind, let's say, one or two dot numbers of Opus or Fable or whatever model it is. But even though if you think, okay, Claude in February, if you get an open source version that is, I don't know, that's 5 releases ago or something like that, that's still something you can build into your tooling. So I think it's more about choosing the right agent for the job, trying to more optimize there. You don't need Fable for every operation, and you also have different versions of Opus that you can tune, right? But this will be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure there was recently a lock-in move by Claude, right, where they said that everything from Visual Code, for example, that needs to be token based, so you pay per token and not the monthly subscription. So it forces you to go into Cloud Code and have the monthly subscription directly. So that's just one indication that we see that this game is changing.
It was throttled a lot as well, because I remember the first 3 days of Fable 5, I got so much done, and now they've throttled it down a lot. It feels like, at least.
Yeah, and also it's you also see just before a new model is released that the performance goes down because they're obviously seeding the new model on the infrastructure, right? So, but this is, I mean,
it's a tech stack option and choice you need to do and think about, I think. And we are at 41 minutes right now, so just like some predictions of the next 12 months. I think it's hard to give any further down the line than that, to be honest. Do you have any?
Yeah, that's a pretty long horizon. but I do think, I mean, the development of AI tooling will definitely continue. Uh, I do think that there will be in our market a big shift in how software is developed, as in how you implement platform software. So I think the consulting industry as a whole, there's a big diversity in how they're doing the project, but essentially the base model is you have the billable hours. That's how you sell. I think that model is going to change over the next 12 months, and I think you will see two tiers. I think you see the companies that are adopting AI and the companies that still hope that this will go away. And I think that's something that will really tighten in the next 12 months, and we already see indications of it from both from our partners, but also clients coming to us and say, we don't really want a huge agency project here of 5 million NOK. We want to be nimble and expect results quickly, because I just built this using Claude at home, right? That's how they're coming into it. So I think it will be interesting to see how this pans out. One opportunity would be that we can see a consolidation of consulting companies, but I think more that we will see some winners that are really able to optimize instead of doing, let's say, 2 new projects a year, whatever size the company is. Maybe they do 10, so that they have a bigger churn if they're, depending on the complexity of the projects, but as a starting point. And in addition, I think if they're continuing to doing 2 projects a year, whatever that means, the throughput and the expectations of that will be much, much higher. So it's not just creating a baseline anymore. It's going into the dreams and the things that people have said, oh, we want to have those microsites for our sub-markets, and let's have some self-learning on the checkout so that we can automatically improve based on conversion numbers, whatever. So I think it's kind of either high throughput if you're delivering the same kind of thing, or you need to deliver a lot more value, because the expectations, the bar has been raised already.
Yeah, I have heard some of the same things that you have, that the expectations, that they have higher expectations, lower, they want to pay less because they expect that they want the AI profits, not you. So yeah, you have to find new ways to sell and be creative. And I think that's something AI can help you with, but still you have to be good at making cool pricing plans, making creative ways to sell ideas still. And yeah, it's still consulting business will still be there, but in a different way.
Yeah, delivering high value. So the value is not that you write the for loops and the actual front end code, right? Maybe the value is how can we implement this properly in the organization to make sure that all the organizational wheels are turning. So change management and going into kind of really getting the most value out of what you're doing. So I think it's moving higher up in the value chain. That's what I believe is going to happen for our industry building econ solutions.
I heard a podcast with was it Microsoft in Norwegian and Deloitte, I think it was, about this is 1.5 years ago, so they can be a bit excused. But the only thing they talked about in that podcast in 1.5 hours was how meeting transcriptions changed their lives. And I was thinking, wow, is this Microsoft and Deloitte, which they had at that point already sold 1 billion Norwegian kroners in terms of AI consult in that podcast. So it's crazy. If that's the only thing, then there are better consultants out there, to be honest. Yeah,
you need to move up, but again, the market is lagging behind us. I mean, we are pretty in the forefront of what's going on these days, but and we see where it's going. Well, where we think it's going. There will be a lag in the market, but if those that don't adapt, they will disappear. That's my prediction.
Thanks for the prediction. Thank you so much for taking the time. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much, Bård.
Thank you.